Fakakta Comedy Funhouse Network. Soothing sounds of our intro theme. Welcome to Couch Pilots. It's a podcast. We've done that much. We dare to fly into the unknown territory of awful television pilots of the past. My name is Jason, aka the Bottle Cap Kid. And with me as always is my good buddy, Blake Clayton.
Well, hello. Good morning.
It is weird, isn't it, that it is a morning and we're doing this?
We usually don't have this early of flights. Our flight schedule is usually when it's dark out.
The airline is familiar with our schedule and allows us to sleep in, and so we do usually do this in the evening. It is a rarity. This is 11:33 a.m. and oddly enough, New Year's Day.
Yes,
we're recording this.
Yeah, so we've been up all night. Is it really safe for us to be flying a plane today?
No, I think you have to be. I don't think you could have a drink of alcohol if you're a pilot within 24 hours of a flight. And boy, did we party last night. So this is not safe for anyone involved. Probably even the listeners. If you're listening to this, turn it off.
No. Don't turn it off. Just put your seatbelt on.
Okay. That's what I should have said.
The thing with podcasts, Jason, is that you want people to listen, and then you want them to come back the next week and listen. You just told them to stop.
Yeah, see,
because of their safety.
Got a lot to learn.
It doesn't really matter. Their safety does not really matter.
Their safety. Okay, that's fair. Did you have a nice New Year's Eve?
Oh yeah, it was nice. We spent it with some of Molly's friends, and it was nice.
My god!
And Jen,
yeah,
Jen Flo.
What did you say, Jen Flo?
I always call her Jen Flo.
Is she always on her period?
I think so.
Wait till she becomes Aunt Jen Flo, or don't wait. I don't care. I don't care what you do. It's your decision.
Quit being so bossy to the listeners.
The listeners can do whatever they will. If they have an Aunt Flo, throw the word Jen in there if you want. We're going to start talking about this show after we listen to this soundbite.
Ladies and gentlemen, the captains have turned on the fasten seatbelt sign.
Yeah, that means we's bouts to get it started.
We didn't banter as much as we usually do, or is this the segment that we banter?
We can banter as much as you want.
Well, usually we banter for 5 minutes.
How long has it been?
Like 2 minutes.
All right, hold on a second. Can we play the last soundbite backwards
in reverse?
Yeah. All right. Well, how about this is what I did New Year's Eve. I sat in a hospital. How about that?
That's cool. Did you get some Jello?
Boy, I wish. No, I have a friend who's in the hospital for like 5 months.
Ugh.
She's held up because she's having some pregnancy issues, and she's taking the precautions of laying in a bed for 5 months.
Wow.
So, unfortunately, she was in there for like Thanksgiving and Christmas, and so I'm trying to go and visit her. Me and some of my friends. That's what we did. We didn't go out drinking.
That's good.
It was nice.
And you were in a sanitary place.
Yeah,
a lot more sanitary than a bar.
Supposedly, they say a dog's mouth is more sanitary than humans. I wouldn't take that bet.
I've smelled my dog's breath. I wouldn't.
Your dogs eat poop.
My dog doesn't eat poop because
Okay.
she goes out on a leash.
What's the weirdest thing Rory's ever eaten?
Her own vomit.
That's pretty bad.
It's just like puking in your mouth a little bit and then swallowing it.
They say it is probably just similar to that. They say if you take a piss that your pee-pee is sterile and that you essentially could drink it.
Right.
I wonder if the same can be said about vomit. Where does the line of sepsis come in?
We should probably talk about
Is that enough
the show.
banter?
Yeah, that's enough banter.
Look what you did. Look what you done did.
It went the wrong way.
Went right down the toilet. Fine, let's talk about it. Couch Pilots is this show, and this is where Blake and I head out to our virtual garages, pick up our digital shovels, and dig deep. So deep into the darkest corners of the internet to unearth television pilots from the past that just didn't have what it took to go to the distance. So rather than let these gems collect dust, we give them the old spit shine, fire them up, and we give you the skinny.
Yes, very good. You're like a wordsmith.
It took me 2 weeks to write that.
Just that one?
Yeah, and it took me 2 weeks to read it. Thank you for speeding it up in post. So this week we're looking, and we told you last week. Something happened there.
Sorry.
I think you muted my mic while you coughed.
Maybe we should stop until about 7:30 or 8. And
This is why we don't do it in the morning. Get the morning doldrums.
This plane is not going to land safe.
Oh boy, you will get your money back. So if you listened last week, which I mean, if we're keeping track of the numbers, we're talking to one of you. So if you listened last week, one of you, then you also heard that we're doing the made-for-TV movie, supposed to be a potential pilot, called Exo-Man from the year of our Lord 1977. And
I was 2.
You were 2 years old?
Yep.
And yeah, I was -4.
Oh,
So-
we're getting there.
We're getting closer to me being born. That's all this podcast is. Right. It's just us judging when a show came out versus how old we were then.
And then the rest of the time just talking about weird stuff.
About when sepsis kicks in. So why we chose this? Because as most of our pilots, we chose it because it was available to be seen.
It met all of our requirements.
Yeah, which are what? What are our requirements?
It's free.
1,
And it didn't go to series.
2,
And we found it.
3. That's it.
Yeah.
And so can you. So where can you find it? I know I found it, and then I sent it to Blake, and I would assume that when I send it to you, that's where you look. You don't look elsewhere for it. That'd be a fool's errand.
No, I click on the little blue link, and then, but also, when you send me the link, the first thing I do is put it in the show notes for the week before, and the week of. So people have 2 opportunities to watch it.
That I'm so glad it's a blue link too. Whoever made that executive decision, what color it would be.
If it was yellow,
yeah,
that would just be
blend right in.
Wouldn't see it.
I would make the foolhardy decision. Probably, I'd make it magenta. I'd totally screw it up.
Really?
Yeah. Would you go blue? Orange. Okay.
That's my favorite color.
That used to be my favorite color.
Well, my favorite color is tan, but people say it's not a color, and so then my second favorite is orange.
Well, when I think of tan, and again, you file this under banter, if you will. I think of someone becoming tan because of exposure to the sun or some sun-like lamp, where to me it's like khaki or maybe like a beige.
Maybe I should have said khaki.
But what is tan its own color? I feel like Corolla picked it up at some point. Not Adam Carolla, but Corolla crayons.
Right, Crayola.
Crayola.
What did you say?
Adam Crayola.
I like tan. Second favorite is orange. If I had a link, it would be orange.
Okay. Got that out of the way. Go to YouTube if you want. It's up to you. I don't care what you do.
Or just go to the shout outs.
Go to the show notes. Yeah, go click on the link of the show notes. Go to YouTube. Type in Exo-Man 1977 TV movie. It'll be there. You too can enjoy the exploits of subpar Iron Man.
Very subpar Iron Man.
It really was what it is.
Yeah.
And we'll get to it.
Sure.
But heads up.
It was the first Iron Man.
Heads up, guys.
It was before Starks was Starks.
If I was worth my salt, I would probably looked up when Iron Man became a thing.
It's probably the year after this.
I don't know. I bet it was before. I don't know. We'll put that in the show notes too. And you know, there's going to be some just random pictures of me on New Year's Eve on the show notes. Just
in the hospital, just drinking out of a urinal because it's sterile.
Busted. Okay. Wow. You got it.
I don't know.
Flight attendants, prepare for takeoff, please.
We're taking off.
Yeah.
Hosers.
There's a lot of noise. We're doing it though.
Iron Man's first appearance.
Are you looking it up?
His first appearance was in 1959.
Okay. I don't know what I probably would have guessed early 60s. I wouldn't have.
Well,
59 though. Back then it looked like. Didn't Iron Man back then look like a 1950s robot?
Yeah.
Like big and clunky?
From the pictures that I'm looking at on eBay of this comic book that he first appears in, the Tales of Suspense, where Iron Man is silver. He's just silver. He's just a silver box. But this one comic book is $3,999.99 in 3.5 condition.
Some nerd spent that amount of money on it.
Yep. You guys need a life.
Okay. This is where we talk about the summary of the show. What is out there? Like if someone were to describe it for you.
Sure.
Pardon me. I got the early morning gobbledygook in my throat. A professor who has been paralyzed in an attack by the mob, or by mob hitmen rather, builds a suit that enables him to walk and fight crime. That's one summary.
It's amazing that 2 sentences describe the show that took an hour and 20 minutes.
We're gonna get to this, but it says enables him to walk and fight crime. I'm sure when they say walk, they mean like he was paralyzed and now he can walk. But he literally does not run either. He just walks. He can walk after being paralyzed, and then he chooses only to move at a snail's pace when he walks.
It's like Jason and Michael Myers, how they just walk wherever they want to and they catch up with all the people that are running. He was going slower than them.
Believe it or not, the words Jason Voorhees are in my notes here. I kid you not. So, wow, we got a lot to get to. Exo-Man is a made-for-TV attempt to prolong the $6 million man concept into yet another series. David Aykroyd, not related to Dan.
No.
I looked into that. Not related to him. I did do that much. Stars as physics professor Nick Conrad, who is shot and crippled while trying to prevent a holdup.
And he looks like...
That is not true, though. That's not true.
No. Well, it leads to him. But
it says he is shot and crippled. But neither that while trying that didn't happen.
Yeah, he's not shot.
Who the hell wrote this?
They didn't watch the whole thing. But what was the guy's name again?
The actor is David Aykroyd.
Close your eyes, and
Okay.
You're not going to know who David Aykroyd is. If you go on IMDb, his picture's not even there. Just envision Bruce Jenner.
What are you doing? I have the words Bruce Jenner in my notes too. I swear to you, this is madness.
That's why we're buds. That's why we're best buddies. That's why they chose us to do this podcast.
As in, we chose each other. The guy he's got a hair part like modern day Bruce Jenner. Well, modern as in maybe like a year or two ago. And then he's got like the dude's a runner in the show. He's always running. He's killing it on the track. Very thin frame, like former decathlon Bruce Jenner. But he's also got that like thin, gaunt face.
Yes, the thin nose, the thin bridge of the nose, the eyes, everything. I thought it was Bruce Jenner until about 3/4 of it through.
I had Nicholas Conrad - Bruce Jennery. That's what I wrote. Like he's Jenner-esque. That's so weird. I mean, it must have been apparent, though.
That's the first thing I wrote down.
Wow. Okay. Returning to his lab, Conrad invents a superpowered suit that will enable him to reactivate his withered limbs. $6 Million Man creator Martin Caden was also the brains behind Exo-Man. According to Caden, undue network interference killed the project's chances of becoming a weekly series. The 2-hour Exo-Man pilot first aired on June 18th, 1977.
It was 2 hours. With commercials. And so
yeah.
It was one of the longest ones we've watched.
Yeah, it was just over an hour and a half. The way I saw it was in like 10 little chunks. Yep. And some of the great things about this is like the quality, visual quality is not great, but it was obviously taped off of the TV because there was some like what do you call that when they station notes or whatever?
Like the logo for
station logos, right?
Saturday night movie or whatever.
Yeah, it was Saturday Night Film or Saturday Film Festival, and there was even some commercials in there, which was awesome. So
I wrote that down too about some towels.
Yeah, Thrift. I think the store was Thrifty, and they were having a white sale.
Yes,
and so you missed out probably on that. I know I did. I would have picked up some washcloths for $2. That's what I learned from that commercial. What else we have here? According to Unsold TV Pilots, written by Lee Goldberg, the film was intended as a pilot for a continuing series. Goldberg claims the film was not accepted for series production due to lack of merchandising potential, despite relatively successful viewing numbers. I'm sure when I think of like primetime television when this would have been on, I don't think of a lot of merchandising.
No.
But there are like Big Bang action figures and like Bazinga T-shirts.
Like there's like Big Bang Monopoly. There's everything.
Walking Dead. You can buy characters from that. I guess there is opportunities, like modern opportunities for merchandising, and
I'm sure that's one of the things that goes into account when all these shows are being developed.
Especially if it's going to be a spin-off of $6, or not a spin-off, but like in the same idea or the realm of $6 Million Man, because they had a wildly popular toy series, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So that's all I have for interesting facts.
Okay. Well, that's pretty interesting facts. So we should probably get into the plot of it.
Well, I think before we do that, what do we do now? Yeah, let's do that. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the plot. Starts off with a man using a telephone that would hang on someone's wall in the 1980s.
I wrote phone with cord on it in car.
It's almost like we watched the same movie. And that dude, he will pop up later, massive sunglasses. Massive sunglasses.
They're like women's sunglasses. They take up his whole forehead and everything. They had the turtle shell kind of. They were
massive.
And
like
they were for a woman. Large. They were for a woman. There's no way a man should wear those.
They're like a teacup saucer. Each lens was. It was massive.
We are so right now. We're on point. We're on fleek right now.
I hate to use that, but there really is no other way to describe it.
Yeah.
There's some dudes hanging. It like cuts back and forth. It's kind of like going along with two different timelines until those timelines converge. You know what I mean? You've got Dr. Conrad and his group of guys kind of working in the lab, and they kind of got some mob activity going on.
You don't know if they're cops or what they are, but they get a delivery, and there's guns inside of a bottom of a box, but there's food on top of it.
And how much was that?
$6
and 45 cents for. And I didn't know there was guns in there, but I was like, that is he's carrying a huge cardboard box full of food for less than $6.50.
3 full servings, 3 full meals, and 3 drinks for $6.
What a time! What a time to live in. But we find out there are guns in the bottom, and they're planning to rob the Newcastle Bank. And I don't know where Newcastle is.
It's right. It's on Newcastle Road, but it's right parallel catty corner to White Castle.
Oh, really? That's okay.
You remember where it's at?
Okay. I see it now.
Right. But I also the one thing real quick. We kind of get into a little minute details, but they're funny things to us. So, like you said, Nick is a big runner. He's really into running marathon running, just long runs.
Yep.
And he's obviously runs with this group every day, a group of runners through the park.
Right.
Well, today was the day that he decided he was going to pass the best runner.
Right.
And along the way, he just pushes innocent joggers out of the way.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, he pushes like 3 joggers out of the way for no reason. If you're that fast, you don't have to. They're not in your way.
Hey, he's David Aykroyd, all right?
And let's just refer to him as Bruce Jenner.
BJ? Okay, Bruce Jenner.
So he bumps these people out of the way, and then he gets to the front, and then goes fast. And that's when they cut and they run by the guy with the curly Q corded phone.
Right. We cannot be the only ones that think you look like Bruce Jenner. I'm sure the people who are making that are like, this dude looks like America's hero, the decathlon Olympian champion. Let's make him a runner.
Right.
And all the more explanation point too on the fact that he's crippled.
Sure, yeah,
because he
loved running so much and playing. He was playing tennis later on.
Right.
He
very athletic guy. And what's the worst thing you could do to a guy like that is take all that away from him. And that's exactly what they did. So he's running along. He beats that guy. And then he starts teaching class, and he starts talking to a kid who was sleeping in class, and he says, you know what? I know you're having problems sleeping in my class. You're a good student, but you know what I'm going to do for you? I'm going to co-sign a loan for you.
Right, because you have a job that's keeping you up at night.
Right.
You're not able to sleep. So I'll go ahead and co-sign a loan for you. Now, that actor, I don't have his name, but the character's name was Raphael.
Yes.
From Luigi's brother, right? No, that's Mario.
You're talking about the Ninja Turtles?
Raphael, yeah, the Ninja Turtle. He grew up to be a famous soap opera star.
Did he really?
Oh yeah, he was a really famous soap opera star.
Do you remember what show?
I don't offhand. I want to say.
I hope it's Days of Our Lives.
I want to say Days of Our Lives,
yes.
But I can research that as we continue to talk about the plot.
Soap operas are awful, and my mom used to watch them when I was young, and I just remember seeing Days of Our Lives sometimes.
I think that's what it was. I'm gonna. And all the girls, as soon as I say his name, are going to be like, "Oh my god!"
All the girls that listen to this show are going to swoon.
Yeah, we have a lot more girl listeners than guy listeners.
That's fair. So he falls asleep. He's like, if you fall asleep in my class, people are going to think I'm washed up.
Right. Yeah, that was his cute little.
Yeah, just trying to chum up to this guy, but what? But that's like the reason he gives for co-signing a loan for a student, which seems wildly unprofessional to me.
His name, the actor's
Raphael?
name is A.Martinez. Mm-hmm. Just A.Martinez. It doesn't say like Alan. It's just A.Martinez, and he was on Santa Barbara. That's not General Hospital.
Okay,
he was on General Hospital.
Okay, well, hey, now we know.
I guess it really wasn't.
I will continue to not watch General Hospital, despite A.Martinez.
Wasn't Santa Barbara
probably St. Elsewhere? That was one.
He was also on Pow Pow Highway. Anyway.
Pow Pow Highway.
Right.
We'll be listening to that next week.
All right.
All
So
right.
yeah, he goes to the bank with this young Mexican kid to co-sign for this loan, and that's when the proverbial shit hits the proverbial fan.
Yeah. By the way, these bank robbers that come in, they're the most cavalier, nonchalant. They just kind of waltz in there, no kind of masks or anything.
They were cool, calm, collective.
Yeah.
And they're old school.
And old too,
Right?
They're old.
They were in their 50s.
You would think that they'd be like. I always picture young street toughs coming in here, but they were. They're just old dudes with no masks and just waving guns around.
Wearing suits.
They were wearing suits.
If you're going to rob a bank, wear a suit. And then they went with the old school pantyhose over the face.
One of the guys did anyway. Yeah,
two of them.
Oh, two of them did.
Yeah, one was already had it when he came in. He was a smart one. When he came into the bank, he already had it on. But then another one, after everybody had seen his face, then he put one on.
The guy with the huge mustache.
Yeah. But you don't see that anymore. You don't see the old pantyhose over the head to disguise.
Not as much as I'd like.
Oh, I wore some of Molly's last night
Do they still
to disguise my face.
during?
Coitus.
Okay, thank you. Do they still come in those eggs? You know how pantyhose used to come in the eggs?
Yeah, I don't know. I wish Molly was here.
What were they called? Legs?
Yeah.
Was that the name of them?
Ladies, if you can still buy pantyhose in the plastic eggs, can you please email us?
Email us at couchpilotspodcast@gmail.com, please.
Okay.
Let us know in what form your pantyhose come in.
So the bank robbery goes awry.
It doesn't go very well. They start saying, "Hey, we got this one. We got the one security guard here. Where's the other one?" Boom. Second guy comes out. The most effective security guard I've ever seen. First of all, I didn't know they carried guns. Maybe it's a given at a bank that they would carry guns.
In the 70s they did.
Okay, in the 70s. This guy whips out from behind a corner up in like the second story, and he shoots and kills two of the bank robbers. This guy, employee of the year.
Oh, yeah.
This guy is getting a raise.
Yeah, he probably should have really... He wanted to be on the police force,
Right.
But he had clubfoot when he was a child.
Okay, you really dug into this.
Yeah, he had clubfoot when he was a child, so the best he could do is be a security guard at the White Castle Bank.
And it... White Castle banknotes only come in one size. So that happens, and then the third guy is like, "Oh my god, this bank robbery has gone awry.
Yeah, it's not going well.
I'm out the dough." And then what happens then?
Well, Bruce Jenner,
Yeah.
who is a good runner, chases him through the traffic jammed city.
It's like a game of Frogger out there, man.
It was. I thought of that too. I was like, it looks like they're playing Frogger.
Just jumping over cars, dodging them. The cars are coming from different directions, and they're just weaving in and out of them. Quite a chase scene. On par maybe with the French Connection.
Right, and on the third cut of that chase scene, the one does hop over a log.
Yeah, and I think there's an alligator just casually walking down the street too.
Yep.
And then Bruce Jenner eats a fly, but that's by accident. I think that was by accident. They should have edited that out. Catches up with the guy, gives him the old 1-2, gets him arrested. The guy looks at him and said, "Hey, you're a dead man."
Right, and he's just smiling. He's like, "Mister, hey, mister, what are you gonna tell the cops, mister?
"Hey, mister, what you doing?"
Hey, I'm trying to rob a bank here. You're a dead man. You know that?"
So this guy's connected with the mob from earlier, and I don't know for what reason they were robbing the bank. I don't know why they were so crappy at it. But the Bruce Jenner is now like, okay, well, this is, we got this one guy. Yeah, I'll testify. No problem.
Sure. I don't know what else to do.
So he goes back to the lab, business as usual, until he needs to represent in court or whatever it is. He goes back to the lab, the lab is filled with old school computers, big wall units that just have flashing lights that go different colors, and the punch cards, yeah. And he's in there with his ragtag group of students.
An Asian, obviously.
A Chinaman.
You have to have an Asian assistant because they're smart at math.
A Jim. His name was Jim.
Right. And then what was the other one? Marty was
Eddie.
Eddie.
Yeah.
Eddie was the Mexican?
I don't know. Was he Mexican? Maybe.
I think he was.
So they're in there, and Eddie keeps screwing up. He's not taking the notes right. And Jenner's like, "Hey, Eddie, why don't you go outside and give me some pizzas?" Goes out to his car. Awesome car. I don't know cars. What kind of car was that? Was it like a Porsche?
I don't know what it was, but it was like a sports car.
It was an awesome vehicle. Eddie murdered.
Yeah, I'll say here, kaboom!
Yes.
And to be honest with you, that That kind of scared me.
While they were working in the explosion?
The explosion.
Wow.
Explosion.
That's a sexual term, I think. I was more upset. I mean, Eddie was screwing up so much in the lab that I was more upset about the vehicle being exploded than
right, because it was cool. Like that, it wasn't a hatchback, but like the back went upside, like to the side.
I think it was like a Porsche or something. I think it was like a '70s Porsche. Yeah. It was really cool.
It was ugliest color. It was like '70s.
It was
yellow.
tan.
No, it was yellow.
I think we had a tan Porsche. So then stuff starts to get real because Raphael before was like, "Hey man, testifying like this, you could get in some trouble. You better watch out.
You need some protection."
Yeah, he's like, yeah, he'll offer more protection later. But what he did, he's like, you got to watch out. And Bruce Jenner's like, you know what? No, don't worry about it.
It's cool.
It's cool.
It's just a 2-bit crook. You know, first offense, 2-bit crook. I have nothing to worry about.
But he killed. He goes back. He goes into hiding. He's like, I can't take this. So he's hiding out. He says he's got his girlfriend on lockdown because they don't know what's happening, and he's going nuts in there. He's like, you know what? I got to get back into action. I got to get back in the spotlight, baby.
Right. So, I can't just sit here in my apartment. I'm Bruce Jenner, for Christ's sake.
So he's like, maybe we'll draw the people out. You guys put some protection on me. Maybe we'll draw some of these guys out and we'll be able to catch them. So that's a pretty big gamble to take.
That's a big gamble.
Yeah. But he's doing it because he's like, I got to do this for Eddie. Eddie and my vehicle. I got to do it for mainly my vehicle. I have to do it for. You know, I owe my vehicle that.
Right.
And I'm sure his insurance company covered the vehicle. R.I.P. Eddie. So he goes out there, and they're running around, and you get one of those things where it's like a dude's on a roof with binoculars looking at it.
Yeah, like just pops up out of nowhere. Oh, that was on their way back from playing tennis.
Yeah, and it's just like, why? It seems like you're pigeonholing yourself by just staying on that rooftop. You're really like your view is very limited of what you can see.
Right, and then you can't follow them.
Yeah,
because by the time you get off that roof, they're all the way, you know.
Very ineffective. But I guess it made for a cool, like, panning of the camera. I was like, oh, look at this guy up here. Anyway, so what happens next here?
Well, this is one in the laundry room thing.
The laundry room? Oh, okay, yes, you're right. Right before that, when he's leaving his apartment, he's like, I got to get it back out there. I got to be out there. They leave, and there's a cop outside the door. Did you notice that?
Oh, yeah.
The cop is outside his door in the hallway, just facing the door.
Facing the door.
That's the work the police officer do. He was just facing the door. I don't know how that would help. No. How if you're in the hallway with your back to the wall, just facing the door, watching people coming out, I don't know how that would help. Anyway, you're right. He goes out for a run. He's running. He's really showing up these other cops.
Oh, yeah. He's like, come on, boys. Can you stick with me? I might only do 10 miles today.
Yep. He goes down to his laundry room in his apartment building, and one of the cops gets blasted in the back of the head with a metal pipe.
Yep.
And then Bruce Jenner gets blasted in the back.
Right at the bottom, like the hip, or the bottom of the back.
He was like switching the loads out of laundry, and he blasts him. And then, I've never been hit in the back like that, but apparently it can knock you out because he was knocked out.
Right. Well, the immense pain.
The pain was overwhelming?
He turned, saw the guy's face.
Right.
Slow motion. And for some reason, the guy just kind of stood over him. Like, why don't you
check my face out?
Check my face out because it's going to help out later on. And then you're right. Then the guy gets away, and he passes out from the immense pain. And
this is where it kicks in. He's paralyzed. His running is gone. He can't do that anymore. He can't play tennis anymore.
He can't fuck his girlfriend. Not
properly. Maybe not at all. I don't know what happens.
They didn't touch on that enough.
I feel like people dance around that subject a lot.
Sure.
As soon as someone says I'm paralyzed from the waist down, you think, well, what about your penis? Is it working? Does it work? How do
you please yourself?
How do you go to the bathroom? How do you please yourself? No one ever talks about that.
Yeah, he doesn't have like a
colostomy bag.
Yeah, it doesn't have any kind of urinal bag or nothing.
Oh, that'd be terrible if that got caught in the wheel, wouldn't it? It'd be like one of those old school lawn sprinklers that just whips around. You start wheeling fast, the piss would just be whipping everywhere. Ugh, I shudder to think.
Oh, and I forgot, right before that, there was an appearance of a famous actor, the guy from MASH.
Oh, I didn't recognize him. Well,
the old guy that was not from the police, he was from a secret, tracking criminals.
Travis, I think was his name, Agent Travis or something. Mr. Travis. He shows up with that book, you mean, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, check out this book of criminals. I bet the guy who double blasted you is in this book.
Arthur Travis.
Arthur Travis. So he gives him that book, and he's like, whatever. But he uses the book to his own
Sure.
for his own ends.
This is when he starts coming up with a plan.
Yeah, so he goes back to the lab. He says, Chinaman, I know you're upset about Eddie dying. You can take off if you want. You don't have to be here anymore. He says, okay. So he starts some work on his own, and he finds out that his experiments that he was working on, he's taking some sort of metal, covering it with a liquid, and then shooting it with like ultraviolet rays.
Right, to make it move.
And what 1 and 1 make 2, right? What does he do?
He makes it move.
And then he's like, you know what? I'm going to come up with a plan to get this guy back. Get back to the guy who attacked me.
Because he took my livelihood.
He took it from me, and now I'm going to take something from him. That's over halfway through the movies before that experiment works, and it's about halfway through. Sure. I mean, at the beginning of the show, he said this television program is called Exo-Man. But up to this point, it has nothing to do with anything.
No one, I don't even know what Exo is still.
I think of exoplasm. Is that ectoplasm from Ghostbusters?
Nah.
Whatever. So he goes to his girlfriend's art show. He hasn't seen her for a few weeks because he's pretty devastated about being paralyzed.
Yeah, and she was hot, and she was flirty. She was
good to go.
Ready to mingle. She was always wanting to get with him because he's Bruce Jenner.
That's right.
And he just completely shuts her off. And he doesn't answer the door. She's, again, 3/4 of the show, her top is like she's half naked.
Oh, right. That one scene later where she's wearing like a bikini top while serving him dinner. I was like, this guy.
And then the vest at the end is not really a vest. It's like a open back, and it just goes around her neck, but it looks like a vest.
I missed
she
that
had
part.
no shirt on. I believe. Hey, when I see skin on these shows,
it's like someone's put a spotlight on it.
He's totally dissed her. He's like, he's all about these experiments of getting back at these guys.
But at some point he's like, I gotta go see her. So he goes to her art show. It's the last day of her art show, and he kind of hides out. He sees her from across the way, and she doesn't see him, so he like ducks into a different room. And this room is filled with like old suits of armor. I don't know if it was an exhibit from the past or someone created them. They don't even get into it. Just he sits there, and you see the light bulb go off over his head. He's like, I make metal move. Armor is metal. Maybe I can do something with that.
Sure. Maybe I can become a superhero.
Right. Maybe right there he says, like, maybe I can become a superhero. So he goes back to his lab. He starts futzing around, making a suit.
And the whole time he's making the suit, he's asking for other professors to bring him stuff. And nobody's asking questions until, where he's coming up with the money. He has a bread truck made.
Oh yeah, that huge. I called it the ice cream truck. Yeah, it's a big truck,
and it has a lift on it.
Oh yeah, accommodates his wheelchair.
Where the fuck does he get all this money?
I don't know. I don't know.
He's like, hey, could you, hey nurse, could you come and plaster Paris my whole chest?
Yep.
Why?
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
So she plaster Paris his chest so he can get this like protective shield on it, essentially, right? It's like it's some kind of again, kind of like a plate of armor. He's got these guys bringing in this big barrel,
barrel of stuff
of liquid that I don't know. He molds into plastic, maybe that's bulletproof. And so he creates this. He creates a helmet, and he gets these metal limbs on this suit that move with his experiment.
Sure.
So he can create. He's created a suit for him to walk. So he's got this done. You see bits of it. You don't even see the whole suit yet. He goes and tracks down the guy that
busted his leg.
Right. He asked Raphael. He said, "Hey, your uncle or whatever is a police officer. Can you get me this information?" And he's like, "Yeah, man. Do you need my help? Me and my friends will come with you."
Right.
He's like, "I can get a gun."
Yeah. He's like, "Nope. You're a good student."
Yeah. He's like, "Don't do it. I'm in a wheelchair. I'll take care of the guy."
Right. My life is over if this doesn't work out. But you're a very, very smart Mexican. Yeah. You're going to be on soap operas someday.
He knew it. He could see it.
Yeah.
You could see that kind of talent on the guy. They go to this guy's house, and he kind of calls him out. He says, "Hey, buddy, you broke me. Now I'm going to break you. I'm going to call the cops tomorrow." But he only said that so the guy would follow him later that day, and he did. It worked. He followed him out to his house or what? He was parked in an alley or by a warehouse or something.
Right.
And he goes in the back of that bread truck. By the way, it's a huge lab essentially with a big tanning bed in there.
Yeah, it's amazing all this work he can do by himself in a wheelchair.
That's the note I had. How did he get all this crap in there? And where did that mold think? It looked like a big tanning bed with a mold of his body. And when he gets in there and presses the button, it closes on him. And when it opens back up, his suit, and he's ready to roll. And he busts out the back of the bread truck.
Not bust out. He clumsily, slowly.
Well, the doors open hard. The loud clanging of the doors, perhaps unnecessarily.
And he's and you know that's when you first see Exo-Man. Exo-Man.
Yeah, in all his glory.
In all his glory. And just looking at him, he's super top heavy. Very, very top heavy.
Yes.
He's probably the worst superhero ever. He's very, very short. I mean, he's very, very slow. This doesn't have any battery life, and there's not much oxygen. All these alarms start going off, and he's only been in the suit for like 3 minutes.
That's right. It's the scene is in real time once he's in the suit and starts moving, and you're right. It's like 2 or 3 minutes, and all of a sudden, that unfortunate light you never want to see malfunction starts going off,
and then low battery,
low energy supply. He gets out of the tanning bed. The suit looks like a 1920s deep sea diving suit.
Yep.
Or he almost looks like the arms are silver and then the chest plate and the helmet are red. So he almost looks like a bullet with arms and legs.
Yeah, it's like the arms and legs are like chainmail, and then he has the like a trash can on his chest, and then a big, huge metal potting plant holder on his head.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. It's maybe that's you've ever heard the guitarist Buckethead? He gets the Cassie.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the inspiration for Buckethead.
Could be.
You don't know. We don't know the answer to these questions. And this is where I wrote down Jason Voorhees. He slowly stalks his prey. He doesn't have any kind of weapons.
No, he can't lift his hands over his head, his arms over his head.
Oh, he can't. Yeah, you're right. But he sure as heck can what did he lift that guy's car up?
Oh yeah. Yeah, because the guy tried to get away, and he just lifted it up.
This guy that attacked him, he dies in this scene, but not at the hands of Exo-Man. He dies trying to get away from him.
Right. He gets him cornered in an alley, and the bad guy climbs up like a pole,
like a water pipe or something.
Gets to the top, obviously, and tips over and dies.
Yeah, it's all by dumb luck.
Oh yeah,
this whole superhero, he should be called Dumb Luck Man because he moves so slow.
There's no lasers. There's no nothing.
You want some lasers. You got a robot. You got to have some lasers,
or at least some Chinese stars, right?
That we get into later what could have been done differently. That Asian guy could have been his sidekick with throwing stars.
Right.
Anyway, just a little food for thought. He tracks this guy down. He's slowly coming at him. He's shooting him with guns. He's got the bulletproof protection vest on. What do you think his plan was if he caught up with him?
I don't think he had a plan. I think he was so immersed in this and being able to walk with this costume on that I don't think he thought that far ahead. Like I think he was like, I'm going to build this. It's because he's a scientist.
Yeah.
He just thinks the next one step. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When they created the atomic bomb,
they didn't think so. They just thought, hey, look what we did.
Right. All these people are going to die, and
didn't think about that.
For generations, little babies are going to have 4 arms.
You know what? What would be the benefit of having 4 arms, though?
Threesomes would be easier.
Yeah, all the threesomes we have.
Cooking dinner, washing dishes.
It'd be a breeze. You could do both at the same time.
You could. Yeah, actually, you could cook 4 things on the stove and still, while the stuff's cooking, do the dishes of those 4 things.
That's right. Not bad.
No.
Not bad. We're solving a lot of problems today. This superhero sucks. I have to say.
There's he gets this guy. This guy falls off and dies.
Yeah.
But then of course he's run out of oxygen. He's out of everything. And this is the only thing I can think of. This little hobo kid.
Yeah.
Comes out, because there's a lot of, in the 70s. There was a lot of little hobo kids from like the Christmas Carol.
Little street urchins wandering around.
Right. Yeah. The kid, Larry, reluctantly helps him. And he gets back in his van and goes away.
Yeah. What a poor design, too, to be like, completely seal yourself into where you rely on oxygen from inside the suit.
Right.
He was about ready to die from oxygen loss.
Right.
That's quite a
poke a hole in it.
Just poke a little hole. It was such a stupid design flaw, wasn't it?
It's dumb.
Anyway, the kid lets him breathe. He gets up. He says, "Tell me where you live."
Yeah, tell me where you live.
And the guy, first of all, it's pretty clear this guy doesn't have a home.
Right.
But then he says, "I'm not going to tell you." And he's like, "Fair enough. Thanks a lot, buddy." And then he's out of there.
Right.
Where does he go next, though?
Then he goes and finds the big guy, the big head honcho.
The dude who just died. He finds his boss,
yep.
Mr. Haas, I think, Haas.
Yeah, Kermit.
That's right. It
Kermit
was
Haas.
Kermit Haas. Who's named Kermit anymore?
There's Kermit the Frog.
Not heard of him.
There's Kermit Haas.
Never heard of. Oh, okay, I just saw that. Okay,
Criminal. That's the only two I know.
Okay, and I've only heard of one of those. He goes to his house, and he's got an electric fence around his house. Is that real? Like, I know there are electric fences, but it seems like it was a residential area, and it was just like anyone could walk up to that fence, and it's electrified. Is that a real thing?
Yeah.
So you could have an electric fence if you owned a home and you had a fence around it. You could have an electric fence.
Yeah, because he had a warning sign that said "Warning: High voltage."
And that's all you need. It's just a warning sign.
That's all you need.
It didn't stop Exo-Man.
Hell no, he's got a suit on.
Stomped right through it, and some guys a light went off. Did you see that? This guy had a little box on his desk with a cord, and all the box said nothing. It was like a little box he'd put a ring in, and had a little light bulb on top, and then it started blinking.
Yeah, and making a buzzing sound.
That's it.
That was Kermit's desk.
And then it was basically saying, "Hey, something's up."
Right. Yeah.
That's all it was.
Hey, whenever this goes off, that I keep 3 inches away from me on my desk, that probably gets in the way of everything I do. If that ever goes off, something's awry.
Something happened. So he sends some guys out there in a Jeep. They fire a machine gun at him, bounces off, no problem. It's like, you know what? Let's just run him over.
Yeah.
Boom. It's like hitting a brick wall.
They just fall out of the Jeep. The Jeep starts smoking.
Yeah, they like blast through back then the Jeeps, like the windshield would fold down or something. They flew through it, over it. Those guys are dead.
Yeah.
Those guys are dead.
So the body count was like up to like 7 by now.
Oh, Exo-Man is just laying waste. He blasts through the wall. And again, by dumb luck, happens to follow this because this guy's running.
Right.
He sees him come through the wall. He's like, I got to get the hell out of here. So he grabs his gun. He's running out of there, and the Exo-Man very slowly follows. Slowly. And again, by dumb luck, comes across his safe room that he's in, busts through the door, and the guy's shooting at him, bounces off. He walks over to him, and you think, oh, he's going to grab this guy. He's gonna juice him like a GD orange.
He's going to paralyze him, maybe?
Yeah.
Or do it to him?
What does he do?
Picks up a couple books.
And that's it. Scene's over. Picks up some books. Exo-Man at this point has not laid a finger on a soul.
Right. So then, he eventually, he tells his girlfriend they get back together.
Yep.
Tells her all about the stuff. They come back.
Hanging out in the bread van.
And then Travis comes back.
Yep.
And he says, "Hey, the so and so that hurt you. Yeah, they found him dead, just a couple blocks away. Hey, his boss."
We found his books in the garbage.
Yeah, he's found his books in the garbage. He's been indicted. You know anything about that? And Bruce Jenner's like, no, don't know a thing about it.
And Travis, he touches his nose like, I know you know what's up.
And then he's like, oh, well, I might get a hold of you about some other things. So that's the superhero part. That's the hey, I'm a superhero. It's just me and yours little secret.
And that's if anyone likes this, here's the launching pad for the rest of the show.
And then the last scene is Hims and his girlfriend are just randomly going through the streets looking for Larry. You know why? Because
Larry's going to help him.
Larry's going to be the sidekick.
Yep. A little hobo.
And there's your
series.
Launch of the series.
For better or worse. Boy, wow. I was tired after watching Exo-Man. I'm even more tired after talking about it. Let's take a quick break here, and we'll hear about some cool shows on the FCF network. Ever wonder what inspired a songwriter to pen your favorite song? How did they come up with that cool chord progression? Or even how they got into playing music in the first place? Join the podcasting god, Blake Clayton, as he talks to the prolific songwriters in roots music to talk about the song Inside and Out. Join us every other Tuesday at fcfnetwork.com for the song Inside and Out. Also available on iTunes.
It's a good show.
I've never heard of that show before.
It's good.
It's a pretty good show. Who hosts that show?
Me. Blake Clayton.
How many episodes have you done of that now?
We're almost to 20. By the time this comes out, it'll be 20.
How's it going?
That's good.
How do you find it different from how you used to do interviews before? I mean, obviously you're talking about a specific song, but are there any other changes or does it feel different from your previous interviews?
It's more focused,
Yeah.
And, I'm a lyrics nerd, so to me it's cool.
People are digging it too.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All 7 of them.
Check it out. Subscribe to that in iTunes. Go to fcfnetwork.com. Check us out there. Rate the show. Comment on the show. Blake's doing a kick-ass job talking to all your favorite roots music artists, so jump on board that. You'll be happy that you did. Exo-Man. The show didn't work out. Let's talk about it.
Please remain seated as we are now crossing a zone of turbulence.
Show didn't work for several reasons, as far as I believe. Why didn't you think this show worked?
It was the worst superhero ever devised. If it would have looked cooler and he would have been able to do more stuff, you might have been able to get a couple, 3 or 4 episodes before they canceled it. But that superhero was it was like they had did all this stuff and spent all this money on the show, and they're like, oh well, we only have $35 left in our budget. We still haven't made the costume.
You do that first.
It's first. You build around the superhero, not build the superhero around the story.
If you Google, like Iron Man's first issue, you can see, and you're like, oh, I guess that looks like a man made of iron, I suppose. But you compare it to today's Iron Man, it's wildly different. He's evolved quite a bit. And that was in 1959, you said, the first issue? This is 1977, and it looks eerily similar in its bulkiness,
sure.
that Exo-Man does. And it's just like...
It was like the robot from Lost in Space.
Right. It's just big and bulky and clunky. It's like, who would want to watch that?
Right.
That's a silliness.
And you're not going to convince kids that this superhero is good. Like, he's a cool superhero.
Yeah.
He's just there's nothing, there's no lights on him, there's no nothing.
He had no weapons, really. He just walked around for 2 minutes at a time until his power went down.
Right.
And as far as whether or not we could get toys out there, it doesn't seem likely.
No, because, again, it's just the costume is horrible.
Oh, man. This is not very good. We'll rate it in a second, but I think you're exactly right. There's no weapons. He's slow and clunky. There's nothing exciting. I mean, when you're talking about superhero shows and something in that genre, you want action. And there's nothing less action-oriented than slowly walking towards the villain.
Right. There was no, fight scenes.
There wasn't. He didn't lay a finger on anyone.
If something's in my way, I will just knock through it.
Okay, so he had super strength, I guess, right? And he was fairly invulnerable to attacks.
Sure.
But that's it. Those two things do not a good superhero make.
No.
What would you have done to improve this show?
The story was a good story, like how they built up to why it happened.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think it probably could have been at a quicker pace. We talked about it. Like, it was a quick pace show until he got hurt.
Right, up until then, yeah, the pacing was very good. You're jumping from scene to scene. They were building these two stories. It was moving along, but once he got injured, it slowed down quite a bit.
Right, and like Spider-Man, okay, we know he was working in a lab late one night, and he got bit by a spider.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
This took too long to say he tried to stop a robber and then ended up getting paralyzed, and then now he's paralyzed. He's got, it's...
Yeah, because really, the name of the show refers to what he would be called.
Sure.
Because they never once said Exo-Man in the show, I don't think.
No.
But that's what he would have been called. But you didn't see him as Exo-Man until like the last 15 minutes, 20 minutes?
Yeah.
And it wasn't even for the full last 15 or 20. It was only a few minutes here and there.
Right. You would have if you would have been watching this on a Thursday evening
Or a Saturday film,
Saturday
film festival.
You're going to watch an hour of it and go, the kid's going to sit there and go, where's the robot?
Right.
Where's the superhero?
Yeah. A kid would be wildly disappointed.
Right. He's got better things to do. You go outside and play the jacks.
If it, where would you like to see this show go if it survived?
I thought the concept was cool. It's kind of like normal superheroes. They have somebody in a secret government thing
Tie-in or something?
Yeah, because that's what Arthur was.
Arthur Travis. Yeah.
Arthur Travis would have been a secret tie-in to where we track criminals that even the cops don't know about.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the premise of it was good. I just think it seems redundant to beat a dead robot, but that's what it is. It was a really shitty superhero suit.
I'm sorry that Eddie died. I even though he was kind of a dunce, I was hoping that once he became Exo-Man, he'd be able to go back to the lab, and he'd have this little lab team, the Chinaman and Jim, the Chinaman and Eddie. Those two could have been back at the lab and helping him work on it and making it better, maybe giving him upgrades.
Right. Maybe if Eddie would have died, he would have said, "Hey, boss, listen, this suit, I understand the concept. We got to spruce it up. I'll have my cousin come over here, put some pinstripes on it.
Oh, nice.
Jack it up a little bit.
Bedazzle, maybe?
Yep.
I like the sound of that. And what you said, too, when they're looking for Larry or Lloyd, or whoever the bum was at the end, they're like, let's find this kid and thank him. But that kid could have tied in somehow. Maybe he was walking around like picking up stuff with a stick,
Yeah.
like garbage and stuff, and then like sorting through the garbage, see what he can find. Maybe his weapon is a stick. Maybe it's Exo-Man and Stick Boy.
Right.
I don't know. I'd watch that, I guess. Maybe it's a cartoon in 15 minutes.
Right.
They could have done some things. I don't know. Even though these ideas that we have, incredible ideas. I don't know if they were.
They seem very simple, though. They don't seem like we're reaching out like we are.
We're not adding a unicorn.
No. And I have trouble when I watch these, and even when I try to put myself into the 70s era,
Right.
I have a lot of trouble sitting there going, there's executives at a table that are signing off on this and not saying, hey, do you think maybe it would be cooler if his costume had a logo on it even?
Right. It's just red and silver and clunky. I don't know. And the thing that makes it even more frustrating, I think in 1977, this is before Fox Television Network, so you had 3 networks on TV, maybe PBS too.
Right.
So, and that's all there was. So why not just put the best of the best on TV rather than taking this milquetoast crap? You know what I mean?
Right. And I think it was just, they were always, like I said before, they were making these made-for-TV movies to fill that one night a week.
Yeah.
And they said, we're going to get our money. I mean, we got it here. We're going to spend the money. We got this with the potential for this.
Yeah.
And I guess
just the fact that someone signed off on it to begin with is silliness to me. We do our ratings at the end, but we're going to tell you right now what other people had to say about Exo-Man.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we start our descent, please make sure your seat backs and tray tables are in their full upright position.
I looked several places out there for ratings and scores and reviews, and IMDb, from the people who scored it there, gave it a 6.2.
out of 10?
Out of 10. There is some stuff out there. It's rare to find something extremely low, but this deserves to be lower than 6.2.
Right. Well, like I said, I guess I understand a 6.2 because the premise of the movie makes sense. It's just that when they got to the sweet spot, when they got to the moneymaker, when they got to the money shot, they let it go.
$6 Million Man. He's there's nothing special about him. He's just wearing a red jumpsuit, and he's a robot inside.
Right.
So he doesn't have to be flashy with a costume or anything. He's running around. He's always getting in stuff, action. They got the cool sound effects. Exo-Man sound effects was like a heartbeat going.
Oh, yeah. Or like what? It's just even that. That's something else I noticed during the whole show. The suspense music in the 70s, it hurts your ears. It really does hurt your ears.
$6 Million Man,
That's cool.
Kids can get on board with that because it's not a big clunky dude. It's a man that's a robot or whatever, part robot, and it's exciting. So you can sell toys through that, but with Exo-Man, it's clunky and crappy. And who is Exo-Man for? The beginning works as a drama, right?
Right.
But then you want to sell toys to kids? Is it? I don't know. It doesn't make sense. I think it didn't know who his audience was. Maybe.
I think they should have just done a spin-off show about Emma.
Oh, I would have watched that. Her name was Emma Frost.
Yep.
And they're or Emily Frost, and I think is Emma short for Emily?
Yeah.
And that was the character. That was the White Queen or the White Witch or something in X-Men.
I don't know. I don't watch superhero
Marvel.
I don't watch superhero movies for this specific reason because I've seen Exo-Man.
1 out of 10 stars. Someone gave it on IMDb.
Thank you.
Someone wrote the Iron Man movie. This old TV movie is a direct steal of Marvel Comics character Iron Man. The lead in this TV movie builds a metal suit to keep him alive, like Tony Stark. And the so-so story makes this telemovie nothing to write home about. There's some long reviews in here I won't get into. Dave Sindelar, who's been kind of an ongoing character who does a lot of movie reviews for these kind of things. He did not care for it either. He says, I smell a failed TV pilot here. He is not wrong. There's another website called Cinema Crazed that also found that had a less than positive review for it. Overall, people did not care for it, and I think our review is going to align pretty closely with that.
Sure, I can see the doubles coming right now. A double. I see a double.
Double biggins.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to FCF Airport. Local time is 11:11, and the temperature is 69 degrees. For your safety and comfort, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captains turn off the fasten seatbelt sign.
So, of course, to go along with the theme of the entire show, their intros and outros being that of Wings' origin, so does our rating system go. Roy Biggins being the worst, Brian Hackett being the best. Roy's a 1, Brian's a 7. On the scale of 1 to 7, Exo-Man lands squarely, what, with you, Blake?
God, I'm trying to give it credit for the story.
Yeah, you have to be a little lenient. What's the one? The Tribe.
Right, the Tribe was worse.
That was really bad.
Because the whole story was bad.
And I think, I didn't watch it, but based on your review of it and what you talking about it, I think we both gave it a 1.
Right. I'm gonna give this a 2 because I'm a nice guy.
Okay. That's a Faye Cochran.
Yeah,
generally sweet and motherly, though slightly batty.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 3.
Oh.
I think I liked the character. I liked Bruce Jenner, and that I think he was a likable guy. I think he was good. I think he was a good actor. I think there's a lot of good elements in here, but just it should not have been called Exo-Man. It should have been called Professor Guy or Professor's World or just something to where it was like, let's take the superhero thing out of it, or I don't know. Right. It didn't work the way it was, but I think there were some good elements. So
I'll change mine to a 3. So
okay.
We can align.
Okay, thank you. Very important for us to align. Antonio Scarpacci, mild-mannered, differential, and hopelessly romantic. So, not the worst thing we've seen. Tribe is going to be tough to beat, I think.
Yeah, Tribe is going to be tough to beat.
But certainly not. It's not a Brian Hackett.
No,
it's not a number 7.
No, you can't. Well, I don't think we're never going to find a Brian.
I won't say that. I think we have some cool stuff down the line here that's going to be pretty cool.
Okay.
But oh, boy, that's about all I can say about that. What? Any final notes you have for people?
No, I mean I think we kind of reviewed it all, and I think actually all the stuff that I wrote down we hit. So.
All right. Well, join us next time when we watch the pilot episode of the Western comedy that inspired Mel Brooks' Blazing Saddles. It's Black Bart from 1974, and here's a little something to wet your whistle. You can find the entire episode of Black Bart on YouTube. Just type in Black Space Bart, and you can even put TV show in there if you want. It'll pop right up. It'll be in the show notes. For all of our content, go to fcfnetwork.com. Check out all of our past episodes. Send us an email. Pouchpilots. Don't send it there. CouchPilotSPodcast@gmail.com. If you've got questions for us, if you've got suggestions for us, if you have TV episodes you would like us to review, drop us a line. Go to fcfnetwork.com. I think that's all I got. You got anything else? You want to say goodbye to everybody?
Hey, everybody. Don't watch this movie.
Yeah, that's a good
message. Or just watch 45 minutes of it.
It is an hour and a half, so I'd say watch the first half and then immediately turn it off.
Immediately turn it off. When it goes to the 5th set of 10, that's when that's where it starts to go down.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, well, thank you everybody for listening, and we'll see you next time on Couch Pilots.
On behalf of Couch Pilots and the entire crew, we'd like to thank you for joining us on this trip, and we are looking forward to seeing you on board again in the near future. Have a nice day.
This has been a Fakakta Comedy Funhouse production, produced by Jason Tosher, executive produced by Blake Clayton. For more information and content, go to fcfnetwork.com.